In this video, I'm going to show you how to create an advanced maze game in GameMaker. Now this game is a 3-level maze game and it's going to start quite simple. Okay, we're going to have an old man that just has to walk through the level, collect 4 diamonds and work his way to the finish line. We always start a game simple like that so we can ease our users into the game. We don't want to make it too hard and scare them off from the word go. And once we get through that first level, we work our way into a second level where we've got a few new things to keep the user interested. We've got some new rewards, which are these gold coins. We've got a challenge. As you can see, we've got a red wall in the way, and we can't get through that red wall until we collect all the diamonds. And we've also got an obstacle to make it a little bit tricky. We have a blue ghost, and if you hit that blue ghost, you do die and you have to restart the level. So let's go through now and collect all these diamonds. As I collect this last diamond, watch the red wall just over near the finish line there. As I collect it, the red wall disappears and we can now work our way through to the finish line. So just avoid that ghost and through we go. And by finishing level 2, we eventually move on to the final level, which is level 3, and it's quite complex. You can see we've got 2 types of ghosts now, one going up and one going down. And we've also got similar challenges to before where we've got to collect all the diamonds before we open this red wall up. Once that red wall disappears, we've got a trigger down there, and that trigger is used to blow up a dynamite. As you can see just above these ghosts, we've got a dynamite here. Okay, and at the moment we've got a rock that we can't budge through. We need to blow that rock up before we get to the finish line. So I'll show you how that works very quickly by collecting these diamonds. I'll just wait for the 2 ghosts here to pass. So now that the red wall's disappeared, I can go down the trigger. And as I push this trigger, watch the dynamite near the rock. It blows it up. And we're ready to progress through to the finish line, which is our last level. So it'll be the end of the game. And a high score menu pops up. Okay, once we finish, the game just closes. So let's pop on over to GameMaker now and get started. As you can see, there are a lot of sprites, objects and sounds in this game, so it's going to be quite a big one. Okay, so I'm just going to make a new document now to get started. The first thing we do when we make games like this is bring in all the sprites that we want to use. So I click the little Pac-Man button at the top, load up sprites, and from this advanced maze game resources folder, let's bring in our main character, which is the man. Don't forget to remove his background by checking that box on the side and clicking open. We'll give it the name SPR_man. Click OK. And we'll do a similar thing for all the other sprites we need in this game. So we've got a bomb over here. Just click on it once and make sure you remove the background. Click open and we'll give it the name SPR_bomb. Okay, I'll just show you one more. And we load in one more sprite. This time it's the bonus symbol. Okay, make sure the remove background option is selected and click on open. Call it SPR bonus. I'm just going to pause the video for a moment while I go through and add all the sprites we need for this game. You can do that now as well. I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, we're back again now in the game, and as you can see down the left hand side here that I've incorporated all the sprites from that advanced maze game resources folder into GameMaker. So just double check against mine that you've got them all in. You've got the man, bomb, bonus, rock, diamond, door, explosion, blue ghost, white ghost, finish line, and trigger, and the wall. Okay, make sure you've got SPR at the start of them, and underscore, and give them a name. Okay, it's just a professional way to name your sprites. Next thing we'll bring in is some sounds. So up the top where you've got the grey speaker icon, click on create a sound and load in a sound. You've got these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sounds here to add into your game. So start doing that now. We'd use the shortcut SND for sound underscore bonus for the name. Okay, if you want to preview it, you can press the play button. Click OK. We just quickly work through adding all of those sounds. Okay, I'll just pause the video again while I bring in the last of those sounds. Okay, so back again now, and as you can see down the left hand side here, I have added in the 6 sounds that we need for this game. After that, along the top here, we're going to add in some backgrounds. So let's create a background. load up a background, and we've got 3 backgrounds we want to bring in. Let's start with background 1, and we'll give it the name BG_1. Simple as that. So we'll quickly add those other 2 backgrounds in. We'll call the next one BG_2. Click OK. And the last background I'm going to put in is called BG3. We'll load up that 3rd background. Click OK. So there's our backgrounds in now. The last step we need to do just over here before we get going on our game is to convert all these sprites into objects. And the way we do that is by clicking the blue ball at the top of the page, which is create an object button. Now the first object we want to make is the man. So let's call it OBJ_man. And select a sprite to go along with it. And click OK. We'll make another one now. This one's the bomb one, so OBJ_bomb. And select the bomb. Okay. When you get down to some of these other ones, like the door and the wall, you want to make them solid objects. So what we do is we create an object. Let's go with the red door to start with. We'll call it OBJ door. And you need to make sure the box solid is checked. Okay, otherwise our little character is just going to walk straight through it. So if we have that checked as a solid, nobody will be able to walk through that object. Okay, so let's make another one. We'll call it OBJ wall. And we're going to load up the wall sprites. And we'll make it solid as well. Click OK. I think the last one that we're going to make solid is the rock. Okay, we want the rock to be solid so no one can go through that. So I'll call it OBJ rock. Load up the sprite rock. And make sure it's solid. That way no one's going to be walking straight through those walls and the rock. I'm just going to pause the video now while I make the rest of these sprites into objects. None of these other ones will be solid. They'll just be the normal settings. Okay, so we're back again now, and as you can see, all of the objects have been created. Okay, they should match the sprites up there at the top. So we've basically got all the ingredients now to make our game. So let's head on over to this button at the top here, which is the Create a Room button, and start to make our first level. What I'd like to do to begin with is change the snap X and snap Y values to 32 by 32. That way the grid size is the same size as each of our little objects. They'll fit nicely into our grid. I'd like to go to the Settings tab and give it the name Level 1. I'll leave the width and the height as they are. I will go to the Backgrounds tab, however. If I wanted to, I could choose a fancy color like that to put in there. But I'm just going to go back to the original grey, because what I want to do is go about halfway down, and where it says no background, I'm going to change that to BG1 since this is level 1. It's a bit hard to see, but it does put a slight texture onto our background there. If I go back to the Objects tab now, I can start to populate my room with all the different objects I've got in my games. I'm going to hold down Shift, click and drag, and start to put a wall on the page. Okay, remember it is a maze game, so you might want to make it into a bit of a maze. So I'm just going to add a few of these. Something that I think looks good with maze games is making a symmetrical room. That means having the same elements on each side of the room. Alrighty, I think that looks alright. We might make a room that looks just like that. I'm going to left click my mouse back in here, and I'm going to choose my object man, and I'm going to start him down in the bottom left hand corner. I might throw in a few diamonds that people can collect, just to give them a little bit of excitement in that first level, and I'm going to put in a finish line just over there in the middle. So basically all our man has to do is go up, collect the diamonds, and head straight to the finish line. That's all we have to do in this level. We start simple because people want to ease themselves into the game. We don't want to make it too hard for them. Once you're happy with how your first level looks, you just need to click the tick at the top here. If a box comes up saying there's instances or tiles outside the room, say yes, we do want to remove those. And that's our first level created. We can now make the second level in our game. So again, I'll make it full screen and make it 32 by 32. I'll go to the settings and make it level 2 for the name. I'll change the background to BG2, which is a bit darker than the other one. And back in objects, we can start to put in level 2. Alright, it's a bit hard to see the grid at the moment with this background, so I might just turn this background off for a minute, just so I get it made. I'll put it back on once we've finished decorating this room. Okay, so in level 2, I'm going to make it a little bit harder, remember, so I'm going to put up a wall over here, and I'm going to have my little man start about there. Over behind the wall, I'm going to have the finish line. I'm going to have a red door there, stopping us from getting to that finish line. And I'm going to close it off with a wall there. So basically, this little man has to get through that red door to get to the finish line. Okay, so we can add in a bit of a maze through here. Okay, just to keep it quick, I'll just let somebody through there. We will put in some diamonds again. Remember, he has to collect all the diamonds to open this red door up. So put in a few diamonds for the player to collect. It looks pretty good. If you'd like to make it a little bit more interesting, you can add some of these bonus objects in, which are some coins. You might want to run a few of them across the top there. Looks alright, and we might grab a blue ghost and put a blue ghost in that works his way up and down through here. Okay, that will stop our little man from reaching the door as easily. If you wanted, you could add some more things to this room just to make it a little bit more exciting. What else could we add to it? We might add something over here. Alright, funny looking maze, but you get the idea of what we need to do there. Okay, so I'll go back and put that background in now that we wanted to before. Oops, just BG2 is what we wanted. We'll click the tick, and finally we'll make one last room. We'll set it up in a similar way. We'll go to the settings and make it level 3. We'll change our background to BG3, and back in our objects, oops, we'll change the snap X and snap Y to 32 by 32, and then we can start drawing in level 3. Okay, I'm just going to pause the video while I draw level 3. Okay, so just back again now, and as you can see, I've decorated my level 3. Okay, I've added in both types of ghosts now, so the white one goes backwards and forwards, left and right, and the blue ones go up and down. That will make it quite tricky to collect these diamonds and these gold coins if they want more points. Once all the diamonds are collected, we can head on over to where this trigger is, as that red door will pop open and the player can push the trigger. When they push that trigger, this dynamite here will blow up, the rock will go with it, and then the user can go all the way through to the finish line and finish the game. Okay, so when you're happy with how it looks, make sure you press the tick. Say yes if you need to remove any tiles from outside the room. And that's basically our game setup. All we need to do now is the programming of the objects. What I'm going to do is pause the video here, and you'll have to watch part 2 of this tutorial in the second video to see how we finish the game.